Hey
Hey guys,
guys, welcome
we're
back.
in the flesh.
Oh my god. Welcome back. Okay. So
Welcome back.
I'm just gonna do this little intro because last week we had a little technical difficulties with the video. So y'all didn't
Yeah.
see me, but now y'all see me. So I'm Kayla
And
and that's Dominique.
yes.
So now y'all
And
can see us and for real. But yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that because the video I just didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know why it happened, but we should be
yeah,
better now and we should be
the
in the
growing pains of
game.
having a new podcast. You
Yes,
know.
you're learning stuff every day. Every day you're learning something different and really just trying to get the hang of it. I see like YouTubers they just I salute them because I know it's pretty
I think
hard.
it makes it easy.
Yeah. It seems pretty hard. It is pretty hard. But
Yeah.
yes. So as you heard in last episode, today we are going to be talking about childhood traumas and toxic parents. So
Yeah.
it's going to get pretty deep, I guess. We're not going to go into too much details because we don't just want to
Yeah.
lay everybody out on the table like that,
Yeah,
like
y'all don't
Diana
know what's
did.
like that yet.
Right. Like
So we don't want to tell you everything, but
for
we're gonna
those, right. And for those of you who watch Power, we're not putting it on the table like Diana did to Monet. You don't watch Power, but for the
I
girls that
haven't
get
watched
it,
Power since season 2.
for the girls that get it, and the ones that don't. Period. So,
Yeah, I just that's okay.
I guess we'll just start off with our usual check-in of the week and basically just go on about how our week went and what we did. It's probably gonna be another boring check-in of the week because again, we don't do much.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
So I guess I'll go first with my week. Again, I just go to work. I just go to work, I do what I have to do, and it's honestly the days have been going by so fast. Time has been going by so fast. So it's just like I can't even really keep up.
Yeah. This week for me went by fast and slow at the same time. It was one of those weeks for me. Like I would get to work and the day would take forever to be done. But like it's already Friday now. You know what I mean? Time is
Yeah.
just doing what time does. So
Yeah, I
but
mean, I would, it would be Monday. Next thing you know, it's Wednesday. Next thing you know, it's Friday. Then it's back Monday again. And it's just like, damn, time is going by. And it's already February. So big yikes.
yeah. Yeah, I remember. I think at some point I thought that it was Thursday for at least 3 days this week. Don't ask me why, but, but
I had to keep asking, what's today's date? What's today's day? Because I just couldn't keep track.
yeah,
But how was your week?
yeah, boring. I mean, nothing really happened. I mean, I went to work, went on a date on Tuesday, kind of like me and Josh got food.
Okay.
Nothing fancy, but um, it's gonna be like that for a while. I don't really have anything coming up anyway, so these next few check-ins gonna be the exact same thing
Right, the
all the
exact
damn
same.
time.
V-Day's coming up, so maybe it'll be something different on V-Day.
We'll see.
We'll
I don't even
see.
know what I'm gonna do for real, so
I have
we'll
a lot on
see.
my plate for V-Day, so
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do miss me out.
if I can make that emoji face that I don't know how to do it, but that the one that's like I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. But okay, so I guess that just wraps up our week because like I said, we don't do shit. We just go to work, I go to school, be in the house, chill, go out to eat every once in a while, but I got my nails done, so that's about it. Like
I need to do it.
so
My hands look sad.
yeah, I
I'm
was just
going.
like, let me splurge on myself a little bit, like get my toes done, nails done. It was a self-care day for me on what was it? Monday?
Is it
Yeah.
Sunday?
It was
Oh,
Monday.
Monday?
Yeah. It was a
I thought
self
you got your nails done like last week. That was this week?
Child, I told you I don't remember them days.
Girl, I'm telling you, everything's a blur. Anything that wasn't yesterday is a blur.
It was.
To
It had to
me.
be. It had to be this Monday because
I don't know. It's
I
all
don't know.
right. It's no big deal. You know, it's all right.
It's all right. I don't remember nothing, but it's okay.
But
Memory
I
loss.
mean, hopefully things get more exciting. I know in the summertime things are going to get exciting for me, but until then, no ma'am. But it's okay. Okay. But there's our very lackluster update for this week. Um, but I guess we should just go ahead and hop into the topic,
Yes.
get down and dirty,
We don't want to
serious.
waste any more of your time.
Yeah. But
Um,
a quick disclaimer, we're not quite calling out anyone in our personal lives per se.
right.
Like, we'll be talking about toxic parents and things we went through growing up, but we're not going to lay everything out on the table. We're just going to try to keep things as general as possible because someone listening could relate, you know,
Yeah.
and if our parents listen to it, who wants to deal with that kind of drama? Like,
Exactly.
but
Who wants to try to
but
defend
yeah,
themselves?
we don't have time for that.
I don't have
No,
time.
man, maybe another day. Pick my
Yeah.
battles.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a very thought provoking episode, I feel like. So
Yes.
yeah, quick little disclaimer. So yeah.
So,
But
I mean,
we're gonna follow our same method of podcasting that we've been doing. Just
yeah.
switch on and off.
Yeah.
Kayla will give her thoughts and I'll chime in. So let's get into it.
Period. All right. So, do you want to go first?
Sure, why not? Yeah. Let me let me let me look at my notes. Let me look at my notes. Okay. So this week, toxic parents, right? There to know how to identify a toxic parent, you have to know what's toxic, right?
Right.
So at the baseline, most people are aware that any form of abuse instantly qualifies as toxic. Mental abuse, physical, emotional, uh, verbal abuse, those kind of things. Even even if it's not coming from a parent, like it's garbage getting that kind of interaction with anybody in general, right?
Right.
So, a toxic parent can be a lot of people's first encounter with a toxic person. There's like a lot of people who have parents that put really unrealistic expectations on them, or parents that like call them names and pick at their appearance and stuff every single day of their existence, or parents that don't support them, or parents that call them out of their name in the worst, most derogatory way, parents that hit them, parents that beat on them for no reason. Like, outside of the whole discipline thing, like if your parents are just hitting on you because they can, like, that's a problem. Toxic parents, bad, boo, tomato, 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 boo. Like, don't fuck with it. So I just feel like I should lay that out so y'all understand where I'm coming from while I'm talking about toxic parents. But there's also just a whole bunch of things that can contribute to an unfavorable childhood,
Yeah.
like, I feel like a lot of people these days have become more aware of how trauma has can affect you in your childhood and things like that. Like, like people are more aware of how their parents didn't have the best parenting style and how it affects them as an adult. And I think we talked about this briefly, like in a couple episodes ago. But like a lot of stuff that happens when you're a kid, it affects you for the rest of your life. And like so many encounters, like you learn everything. Children are sponges. So if you're treated a certain way, you're gonna internalize it. That's just what humans do, and it's awful. So Yeah. So I think that the first point I'm going to bring up after all that is how it can be tough being raised by someone who you can perceive as a narcissist. You know what I mean? Just I'm just gonna jump right into it because I feel like I've had like firsthand experience, like not necessarily coming from me, but like just things that I observe, right? And I feel like dealing with that, just like even if it's like a romantic relationship or anything, like having some kind of close relationship to a narcissist is pretty garbage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have it as a parent, that's worse because narcissists are, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling. I'm trying to like conceptualize it to where it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I should just keep it at like narcissists suck, right? Nobody likes narcissists.
So
Nobody likes parents.
give them a little definition of narcissist, so that way, because everybody has their own definition, and I just
Yeah. So let me actually look up the definition of a narcissist so that I'm not saying anything off the top of my head. So basically, a narcissist is a person who, especially when you have narcissistic personality disorder, right? A narcissist is a person who has an inflated sense of self-importance. So that can manifest in a lot of different ways, right? So I assume that some of you guys listening have an idea of what a narcissistic romantic partner can be, right? Someone who will gaslight you, someone who will do some really manipulative stuff. And if you call them out on it, they'll be like, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. And they will do everything in their power to make you feel crazy,
yeah.
right? And that in romantic relationships that can manifest in like cheating and you're like you didn't see that so you just don't believe your eyes, like they'll say bullshit like that. And it's a mental roller coaster, right? But the way I see it in the context of parents, like it's a lot of, oh, I don't remember it that way, or are you sure you were like 5 years old, or oh, that's not what I was doing, or like they take advantage of the fact that like that you were young, and so they're like, oh, you were young, you didn't know anything. Like the way I see it as far as parents go is they play on the fact that you're younger than them, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing about parents that I've come to realize, just like observing my own parents and like knowing how other people talk about their parents, is always like a what I say goes, you know? But I feel like when you're dealing with a narcissistic parent, it's worse because sometimes they'll take things out on you, right? Like they'll say they're in a bad mood. And I mean, that's not always with narcissists. I mean, that's just with abusive parents in general. You know, like there's a type of narcissistic abuse that can happen from narcissists. You know, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and feel free to chime in anytime you want. But
Okay.
but I mean, because I don't want to like ramble too much, you know. I'm just trying to like get you guys to understand that like I feel like that's one big type of toxic parent, narcissist, because all the types of abuse that can come from them, gaslighting, verbal abuse, emotional and mental abuse are big ones because narcissists are big on manipulation, like huge on manipulation. Yeah. So like they'll do some fucked up shit and continue to tell you, no, you're wrong, or no, you were like 10 years old, like you don't understand why I was doing that, or you'll understand when you get older. Like the amount of times I've heard that in response to some fucked up shit. What do you mean I don't understand when I get older? Like I know this is wrong. Like the thing about kids is kids are not stupid. I think that one thing is people, when you have a parent like that, they do a lot to try to make you feel stupid because that's what they do in order to keep that sense of power, you know? Because I feel like with those kind of parents, they get off on the fact that like they're the parents, what they say goes, and they have some kind of sense of power over you. And I think it's very unhealthy, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
just, it's garbage. It's garbage. And they have such a big problem with accountability. And oh goodness gracious. And when you get old enough and you become an adult, you realize all the kind of shit that they did. And
Yeah.
it's a lot. Like I'm smiling, but like I don't even know why I'm smiling. Because I just feel like I resonate with this because I've had a little bit of firsthand experience with this kind of thing. So it's just a very frustrating and like not debilitating, I should say. Not in my case, for some people probably, but they're I don't know. It's just it's toxic. It's really toxic, and it's hard to like recognize that it's toxic because to an extent, like you start to believe they say because that's what gaslighting is. It's the whole you're crazy or you're no like you don't even know I didn't say that. And if they say it enough, it's like, oh crap, like maybe you didn't say that.
Right.
Maybe I didn't make it up. Like maybe that was a dream or something. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it fucks you up. It fucks you up. And it just can manifest in so many different ways. And I could talk about it all day.
Yeah.
But I've been I feel like I've been rambling. I probably haven't been, but like I just ugh,
I
there's a
mean,
lot.
so
I can talk about abuse all day.
I guess I can kind of chime in and say my views
uh-huh.
on different types of abuse and what I've maybe experienced or whatever.
Yeah.
So like Dominique stated that abuse comes in all types of forms, physical, mental, emotional, and verbally. And honestly, I mean, you know, like I think the biggest impact is the emotional and then the verbal
Mm-hmm.
abuse because
Definitely.
I mean, yes, physical abuse is bad. Yes, mental abuse, I mean, it kind of lies with emotional and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like I feel like emotional abuse and verbal abuse, it kind of like it sticks with you for life. Like
Yeah.
it definitely sticks with you. Um and like I feel like, you know, especially like this is your like you said your first relationship with a person is your parent. So
Yeah.
when your parents say those like say things like that can affect you emotionally and verbally, it's just like
Mm-hmm.
you you have no choice but to either believe it or what they say or like I said, it just sticks with you for life.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like the main things with toxic parents is like not taking accountability. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like parents can do like I feel like the reason why they do so many things to you is because they feel like they're your parent. So they're
Yeah.
entitled to do those things.
Exactly.
And when they do those things, they're just like they will never take accountability for what they've done. And the biggest thing is like when you've explained to a parent that, yeah, you've hurt me emotionally. Yeah, your words, what you said to me hurt me. And they would, kind of brush you off like,
You're like, so what?
I didn't, I didn't. Oh, well, if that's how you want to take it, then that's how you want to take it.
Right.
And it's just like, it kind of affects you because it's just like, I'm coming to you as your child stating to you what you've done to me has hurt me. And I feel like a person shouldn't get to decide what hurts and what doesn't hurt and when should it hurt and why should it hurt or
Exactly.
whatever, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
you hurt me. Regardless of anything, you hurt me. So it's like I just feel like parents just really like toxic parents. I mean, some parents may not have this, but I feel like most parents have difficulty taking accountability. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it's because of, like they feel like they don't need to take accountability because they're your parent and that's what they're supposed to do. Like what they're doing is right. Or if they feel like it is what it is. Like I'm just not going to take accountability. Like, and
Yeah.
so like that lies into like dismissing your feelings. Like parents, toxic parents dismiss your feelings a lot
Mm-hmm.
because you can feel things inside like that affect you. And I feel like parents of our age, like really, like honestly, most toxic parents become toxic because I feel like what they've experienced from their parents. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
chain. It's a
Yeah, like
chain.
when people talk about like generational trauma and curses, like outside of like generational trauma with like slavery and history and stuff like that, like
Mm-hmm.
parents, I feel like to an extent, it's just like you just said, like it's just an ongoing chain of trauma. Like
Right.
it's just a pass down of trauma. And like a lot of people make points to say that like it has to end with you.
Right.
Because the thing is, like with my own parents, right?
Uh-huh.
So my dad, he had a very tough childhood, you know, and
Right.
I'm not gonna get into details, but like he had a very tough, like very inconsistent childhood, right? And I can see how it manifests in him as an adult and how it's manifested in his parenting styles and just how he carries on with his life. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, and it's a shame because, like, being his child, I want better for him. You know what I mean? Like, it gets to a point where you have like a parent that isn't the best of a person,
Mm-hmm.
and you love them because of your parent, but it's like, God forbid you tell them like things that they've done wrong while you were a kid or now. And it's just like they don't want to take accountability. They rather sit there and try to make you feel guilty
Right.
for calling out what they did.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like instead of like actually communicating to them as a person because they didn't communicate with you as a person when you were a child, you know, it doesn't stick. And I think a lot of that comes from parents seeing their children as probably property. I
Mm-hmm.
think like a lot of the time people don't, at least for a good chunk of their life, people don't see their children as people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of the times people will be like, this is my kid. I raised my kid how I want to. And like, don't get me wrong, like, of course, like if you have a parenting style that you feel like works best for your family, great, amazing, cool. But I feel like it's so easy for that to become toxic because
Yeah.
it's like you don't listen to anybody, you do what the fuck you want because it's your child. Like, it's just one of those things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, that's just my 2 cents. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
and
on.
like to like refer back to like what your dad went through. I mean, my mom, she never really had the best, I guess, childhood and like growing up. Like she never really had like
Mhm.
the best, and I feel
Yeah.
like, her parents, like I feel like she sort of had, I can see where what I'm explaining what why she got like why she, you know, is
Yeah.
the way she is because like growing up, I don't think she was really able to have any feelings. It was just
Yeah.
like her parents, they say what they say, and she just had to go through with it, whether she liked it or
Mhm.
not.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, but I feel like, when you have a child, like that should be your point where you would want to be like, well, I don't want my child to grow up the way I did, or I don't want my child to feel the way I did. I want my child to
Exactly.
feel better and secure, knowing that they can always either come to me, or if I did something
Exactly.
wrong to them, like I can fix it
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
let me look at my notes again. So basically then that, where with the dismissing your feelings, like they'll guilt trip you or whatever.
Yeah.
So they'll make you feel guilty for feeling what you feel because,
Yeah. That's a good old form of gaslighting too. Like,
yeah, and
if
like you
I'm not
said,
mistaken, I think that's a form of gaslighting, like the guilt tripping part
yeah,
thing.
yeah, and like you said, with the whole, what did you say? You were like it's like we're a possession to them. So basically, how
Yeah.
I feel like parents, when they
They don't see
have
you as an
you,
equal human.
right, when they have you, they want you to be how they want you to be. But parents are
Mhm.
forgetting that everybody's different. Just because
Yeah, you're
you,
you're you're a whole different person.
right, you're your own person. just because you raised me to do the things that you wanted me to do doesn't mean that I'm going to do it the way you want or how you want, because
Exactly.
I've grown up to see different things. I've seen a lot of things in life, and if I want to be like a different person, I shouldn't
Mhm.
be, held accountable or guilt tripped into, you know, how I want to be in life. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like parents guilt trip you because they're like, they either make you feel guilty, like, oh, I didn't raise you like this, or I
Oh
didn't raise
God.
you to do this, or I thought I taught you better, and all this stuff like that. But it's just like, you could first, there's two things. A parent could be so strict and raise a parent, like, I mean, not raise a parent, raise a kid, and then the kid can grow up and be like a drug dealer, this, that, all that stuff.
Literally.
Literally. But then you can have a parent that can raise a kid bad, like a bad parent, and then they'll grow up to be a good
Yeah,
person.
yeah, they do pretty good.
So I just don't feel like the way a parent raises a child even matters, because they're their own person. They're gonna do what they want to do no matter what. They're gonna grow up how they want to grow up no matter what. They're gonna do things no matter what they were taught.
Mhm.
So I just feel like the guilt tripping, it's just like it's just it's just like
It's
it,
hurtful.
it is hurtful, because it's just like you kind of feel bad, because you're like, yeah, well, that is my parent. I have no other choice but to
Yeah,
respect them, because they are the
yeah,
people that brought me into this world or whatever.
yeah. And there's that part where, like, if you do vent to someone about it, right? They're like, oh, well, that's your mom, that's your dad. Like, why do you feel that way? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, people who genuinely just don't get it. And, like, they come from a good place, I think, but, like, they just don't get it. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, because there's, like, that added, like, unintentional guilt tripping, I guess, from other people. Because, like,
Mhm.
they don't know, they think that, like, if you're complaining about a parent, it's something easier to fix or something. Like,
Right.
oh, why don't you just tell them that that's wrong or something? Like, you don't think I tried? Do
Right.
you not think that that was something that was attempted? Like, what do you think I'm out here doing? Just complaining? No.
And
but
like I find
and so that can
myself,
make you feel crazier.
yeah, and like I find myself, like, like what you just said, like sometimes I'll find myself telling my friends, like, oh, well, that's still your mom, that's still your dad or whatever, but forgetting, like
Yeah.
we're an adult now. So whatever our
Yeah.
parents do to us now, I feel like that's just disrespect.
Literally. Because, like, as a kid, we weren't given the grace to have our own voice, right? Like,
Right.
um, I grew up with my parents, they're pretty strict, so I didn't really have much of say with anything, really. I
Right.
mean, luckily I never really wanted to back talk, but still, like, I didn't have a lot of like freedom, I feel like, in that way. And now as an adult, I'm coming into my own, my parents talking to me like I have sense all of a sudden. Like, it's a different dynamic. And so, yeah, of course I'm gonna feel, a way, especially when I know how to understand my feelings more. Because, as a kid, like, everything's new to you. You're a brand new human. You don't
Right.
know how to understand your feelings yet, especially if you don't have parents teaching you how to feel your feelings the right way or appropriately. Like, you don't know how to properly manifest all of that or anything like that until you're an adult and you learn more just by living more. And, like, you get to a point where it's like, damn, that was kind of fucked up. Like, ooh, that was not good. Like, ooh, I see how this is affecting me now psychologically, and it's like a whole snowball effect. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just, I
And
don't know.
like I feel like, I mean, I growing up after a certain age, like even though I was still a child, I mean, I backtalked because I just got to a point in life, like where I got to a certain age where you're just not going to talk to me like that.
Well,
I'm
of
sorry.
course,
Well, even
of
even even
course.
when I was a child, I still kind of
Yeah.
stood my ground in a way, because like I just don't like when people think they could talk to me either way. And I always felt
Mhm.
like I don't care if you're my parent, because at the end of the
Yeah,
day, like respect is respect. And you're not
exactly.
you're not gonna talk to me any kind of way, scream at me if I'm not screaming at
Mhm.
you, or
Right.
curse me out if I'm not cursing
Yeah,
at you. And I
yeah.
I mean, I may get called disrespectful or whatever the case may be, but
But is there
What about the other side?
behavior? Yeah, is their behavior not disrespectful? Like, I don't get it. That's one thing I hate too. Parents think that they can't disrespect you. What do you mean? What do you
Right.
mean?
I'm
Is it
just
because I'm
like,
a little tiny person? Is it because I'm smaller than you? You think I don't deserve respect? Like, I'm confused. But they demand respect.
right. And I'm just not like, I've never been the type to just like, I'm just gonna like, I've never been the type to just let my mom talk to me any kind of way, because it's
Mm-hmm.
just not. I I may sometimes have been like a disrespectful child, but certain times like I had my reasonings, because it's like
Yeah.
I'm
Kids
not
don't
known
just
for
act
it.
away because they feel like it. Like,
Right,
there's some kind of thing like making them do that. You know what I mean?
right, right. So then that goes with the whole like your parent being naive. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
lost founded. Like
Yeah.
like I feel like it kind of lies with the whole what's the word? It kind of lies with the whole manipulation. No, narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Them being naive, because
What do you mean by that?
narcissists are basically. Didn't you say narcissists are basically like people like they make you question like what you tell them? Kind of. I'm kind of breaking it down to the definition. Like basically,
Mm.
like they'll do something, but they'll act like they never did it.
Oh yeah, they play stupid.
So that's basically, yeah, basically
That's
being
part of,
naive.
yeah, yeah, playing naive at least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
playing naive. Like, oh, I don't know what you're talking
because
about.
they'll do something blatant. Yeah, the gaslighting. They'll do
Yeah,
something blatant and be
and
like, "Oh no, that's not what I did," or blah blah. Like, I was doing this. Like,
right, and
that
especially is like,
oldest trick in the book.
that happens with a lot of parents. Parents who have substance abuse, parents who do the substance abuse, parents who do all that type of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. They'll play naive, like as if nothing ever happened that day
Yeah,
or something like
yeah,
that. So,
mm-hmm.
I mean, like then you have your judgmental parents.
Yeah.
They don't want their child to
Whoa.
be any kind of way, or they don't want their child to be this way, or they don't want their child to be that way.
Yeah. Parents that like try to have a heavy parents that try to control, right? Like controlling parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do anything outside of what they want you to do, it's a whole bunch of like not even guilt, but you just feel a lot of pressure, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we kind of touched on this last week too. There's just like a lot of pressure to just do things the right way
Mm-hmm.
according to people outside of yourself. And I feel like your parents are a big influencer as far as that goes. Like,
Yep.
I mean, some people probably have like great parents, like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know, in this particular case, we're talking about toxic parents, obviously. And like, you have parents who will, if you don't want to be a doctor, lawyer, astronaut, or something, like, they'll ridicule you.
Yep.
And if like you shouldn't do this, you should do that, you shouldn't do this, you should do that. And it's like, is it your life? You know what I mean? Like, they try to still
Exactly.
like control your life because like I don't know if it's like because they're used to controlling every aspect of your life when you were teeny tiny. Like, when you're a toddler, obviously they're gonna be like, you can go to this school and stuff like that because duh, you're a toddler. Like, what do you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like they try to carry that energy into your adult years, and it's like, no, this is not working. And like, don't get me wrong, like people who have dealt with that probably like it's hard to shake because you're used to it your whole entire life. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like part of me is kind of like that. Like, my parents never told me what to do, at least not that I can like remember them like explicitly telling me what to do, but I've always known that they have expectations. And I've always known that like there's like this unspoken thing about what they want from us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I try to deviate from what they want from me, I'm met with judgment. And it
Yep.
sucks because it's like, well, damn, how am I supposed to live for myself? Because like at the end of the day, like I'm still worried about making them happy and proud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's hard to shake because like I want to live for myself 100%, but I still worry about keeping them happy.
Right.
And I think this is probably a large part of why I feel like I'm a people pleaser in the worst way. Because I mean, like, there's just been a lot of things in my childhood that have like led me to try to make sure I'm likable or people like what I'm doing and stuff like that, like things like that. And I really need to start therapy so I understand this more about myself. But like, I know for a fact I'm a people pleaser. Unfortunately, I am, and I'm trying to shake that because like being that way has taught me to not have boundaries. Like I'm learning how to have boundaries as an adult right now. Like because before I would just be like a yes man. You know what I mean? Like I'll be, you know, I'll say yes to everything or like I listen to everything and stuff like that. Like I'm just kind of that person. And I'm trying to get better with not being that way because a lot of the times it kind of hurts me, you know? And that's largely because of how my parents have treated me in my life, you know? Like, not saying that my parents have treated me bad. My parents never necessarily directly treated me badly, but there are things they've done that affects how I cope and how I navigate my day-to-day life. And like
Right.
I have a lack of boundaries. I have a lack of sense of self, you know, at least I have for like a really long time. I feel like now I'm trying, you know, like build up and learn myself now. But you know what I mean? Like you get what I'm getting at?
Yeah. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
So it can be tough. It can be
Yeah.
really tough.
And like that whole thing, like to shift it over, like the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing about us, being the only girl.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
youngest,
yeah.
you're the middle child.
I'm the middle
And
child
I
and
just
the
feel
only
like
girl. And
being the only girl right there is a like
that's
a, a
different set
thing
of
on
traumas in
itself.
itself.
Like being
Yeah.
an only girl, like your parents expect you to be like, well, you're a girl, so you
Like,
can't do that. Or if let's say
yeah,
like
they're a boy, I don't
example,
care.
right? Like examples, like this is one that I feel that I would never not feel. I feel
Uh-huh.
like the parent treats the boy better than the girl. No matter what the boy
Yeah.
does, the boy can do so many
Mhm.
things, and
Mhm.
the parent can love them like the king that they are.
Mhm.
But the
My
minute a
son is my
girl,
king.
right, the minute the girl does something, and I mean, they don't even have to do anything big, crazy,
But like there's just like a stronger sense of strictness on a girl for what?
right?
Like, you know the saying like people love their sons but raise their daughters?
Yeah,
Like I the older I get, the more I'm like, that's so freaking true.
I
Like I
realize
never
it.
thought much of it before, you know, but like now I'm just like, that is really true. Because, you know, and like excuse me, but like I have two brothers. I have an older brother and a little brother. I'm right smack dab in the middle. I see how they treat my older brother, right? I
Hmm.
see how they treat my little brother. And I'm just like, I don't think I was ever granted that same kind of grace.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like don't get me wrong, like I've been lucky enough to be good at school and stuff like that, but like my parents never put in like that effort to care about my school activities. You know what I mean? Like I see my older brother, he got to do football, track, all this stuff in high school, right? And my parents supported him all throughout the whole way as they should, because you know your parent. And he wouldn't do all this stuff, and they supported him through it and went to his football games and stuff like that. Boom, great. My little brother, he gets to high school, he does cross country. My mom even goes to a cross country meet and like, you know, stuff like that. And like they are supportive, you know, and like they're there for them when they want to do stuff. But I don't think I got any of that. Like, I don't know if it's circumstance or what, but like, I don't think that I was revered to be as important in
Hmm.
some aspects because, like, okay, for example, in high school, I wanted to do tennis, right? And I did tennis anyway. Like, my mom never even gave me the money for my uniform. They gave me a uniform for free because I was like, I'm doing tennis. But, like, my mom never wanted to go to, she never wanted to show up to a tennis match. You know, she never wanted to really pick me up from practice. But like I see how she is with Kareem. She would pick Kareem up from football practice all day, every day, even pick up his friends sometimes. And I mean, mostly because he lived in the same street as us, but still, like she would pick up his friend. I see how she is with Jaden. Like she'll leave the house 30 minutes early to make sure she makes it on time to get Jaden. You know, in the past when he did do cross country, he quit. But like my parents, they would like support and like pay for their stuff like that. And I'm just like, I wanted to do tennis for like 5 minutes in my sophomore year at high school, and I wasn't supported the same. I would be the last person to be picked up from tennis practice. And there was one time I had to stay late with the teacher because my mom didn't feel like coming and get me, and so I was there until like almost 8:30 at night. Practice was
Wow.
over at 7, so it's like you get what I'm saying. You get where I'm
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah.
Like it's shit like that that makes me like, and like I know I'm just kind of like laying it out there, but you guys are having a window to my childhood trauma. It's
Right.
really not that far long ago. It's like what, less than 10 years ago for sure. Um, but like it's things like that that can like really have a toll on you because it's like, well, damn, like am I the unimportant child? Like that's why I feel like the whole love their sons and raise their daughters thing is so true, at least in my life. Like I really resonate with that because I'm just like, I wasn't given the same grace. Even things as simple as like lunch money, right?
Right.
And like I tell my parents this now, and they're just like, "Oh, well," and like they just kind of brush it off. But it's just like there was times where like I think I was like in 8th grade or something like that. Like I just remember being like in high schoolish 8th grade before I got my first job, right? And I would run out of lunch money. I would just run out because that's just kind of how lunch money goes. And I had to pay full price for lunch or whatever. And so I remember getting to a point where I used to feel guilty for asking my parents for lunch money because I felt like I was being a burden to them. But
Right.
like I would see them write checks for my younger brother who was in elementary school or whatever and like make sure that he was handled. And like mind you, I think I even went into lunch money debt in elementary school too. Like I was always going into lunch money debt because like I think at one point I was guilty because I thought that we were poor. And then because of my parents always made a big deal when I asked for lunch money. But like they didn't think about it twice when it came to my younger brother. I don't know how they treated my older brother when it was time for his lunch money, but I feel like his is probably always handled too. But like there were a lot of moments where I felt like I was on the back burner growing up, and that like things like that can kind of they affect you in a negative
Yeah.
way. Like as of
Mm-hmm.
right now, like I'm hyper independent. I hate relying on other people because anytime that I had to rely on my parents, the only people I was supposed to like be relying on, I was constantly let down. You get me?
Yeah.
So it's just like that kind of messes me up a little bit because I don't like help. Like I don't like getting help. Like even in small stuff, like if I'm in a grocery store and I can't reach the shelf, I'm just like, no, go away. Like if a really kind stranger tries to help me, I'm just like, no, go away. Like not in a mean way. I'm just like, no, thank you, I got it. But like still, like
Yeah.
I have a tough time accepting things from people because I want to protect myself from feeling any guilt or shame from having help from someone, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I know I kind of ranted about that, whatever, but it's just kind of like, it's just one of those things, like, I don't know if it's because of like our birth order or from because I'm the only girl or what, but like, it was garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage. And if you try to tell your parents about it, if I try to tell my parents about it now, they brush me off. And they're just like, no, that didn't happen, or this or that. And it's just like, that very much so did happen. And like, I knew at the time, like, my feelings were hurt about it, but like, I didn't know how to really react to it. I was like a kid, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just a bummer when you tell your parents these things and like, you can't really get any real resolution to it because it already happened. But
Yeah.
like, it's kind of a bummer. It really fucking sucks. Like at the end of the day, especially when they don't want to own up to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a mess.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, like
Mm.
to piggyback off of your little stories about what you went like through with the only girl thing. Yeah, like
Mhm.
with my brother, first of all, me and my brother have like a big age gap. So my brother
Yeah.
he's I think he's 32 and then I'm 24. And
Yeah.
you know, I used to like, well, because my mom has pictures. I used to see my
Yeah.
mom, like, he was in soccer, he was in basketball, he got took to
Mhm.
Sesame Street, he got took to Disney World, he got took here, he got took there. And like growing
Mhm.
up as a child, like I barely was I barely was put into anything. I got only put into dance. And I think that was
Yeah.
only just for me to have something to do on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I never was put into sports. You know, when I was younger, I remember I used to try to like be in basketball. My mom never wanted me to
Mhm.
put me in basketball. I don't know
Mhm.
why. I don't know if she thought it was a boy sport or what she thought. Like she never put me into
Mhm.
basketball. I
Yeah.
The first time I went to Disney World, I was 21 years old or 22 years old.
Mhm.
But my brother, he was Disney World all the time.
Really?
All the
All the
time. All the time.
time? Jesus.
All the time. And what
Like, where'd
else?
the money go? Where'd the money go?
And I feel like I also like, just to like kind of like bring up this like this whole thing, it kind of
Mhm.
affects me like with my brother, because I feel like he got to grow up with the two household and I didn't.
Oh yeah, two-parent
Two
household.
parent household. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Two parent household.
But I mean, that's not his fault,
It's
you
not his
know. But
fault, and he is not. It's like he couldn't control it. But I
of
also feel
course,
sort of some like, well, damn,
like a resentment.
y'all made it like y'all. He had this perfect family, and
Mhm.
me, I came in the picture, and then here I
Everything
am.
just kind of went downhill.
Right, here I
Yes.
am, single parent, all this stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've never had my own room since the first time I got my own room, I was 12.
Oh yeah,
My
when you
brother's
mentioned.
had his own
Yeah.
room since he was born. I
Wow.
Even when I was born, I never had my own room. So,
Mhm.
I mean, my brother would do things, and they would just find a way for him to get out of it, like this.
Yeah.
I try to stay out late with my friends. I get yelled
You
at
never
and
hear the end of it.
never
Yeah.
hear the end of it. And my mom did once tell me like, "Oh, you're a girl. You shouldn't be out this late and all this stuff like that." And I'm like,
I think that's so
"But your
stupid.
son stayed out till like 6 a.m.
I
You yelled
hate
at
that that's
him, but
stupid.
that was the end of that." But I didn't.
That.
I've never stayed out past 1 a.m. when I was like a teenager.
Mhm.
Never. I've stayed out to
Mhm.
12. I stayed out to 12:30, but then I would always get
Mhm.
those texts like, "Oh, it's time to come home." But your son was out doing Lord knows what.
But who knows what?
But who knows what? Didn't come home till 6 a.m. You didn't call him. You didn't tell him to come home. You weren't looking for him. None of that.
Mm-mm.
And I'm just like, then that's another thing. Like with finances, I feel like, you know, with my brother, they like don't I'm not saying my parents don't help me, but I get more
Sure.
question about it. Like my
Yeah.
dad, he would always say, "Well, what happened to your job?" As if I'm not in school working a part-time job.
Right.
But your son is supposed to be making this big shot money. He asks for money,
Way more than you do.
snap of a finger. Snap of
Mm-hmm.
a finger and he gets it. And I always like, I've always told my mom how I felt about like, I feel like you can kind of tell, I don't know, you can kind of tell when a parent has more love for a child,
Mm-hmm.
kind of based off the things that they do, not or more
Yeah.
care, I guess.
Like more, yeah, more care, like more
I
leniency, I
shouldn't say
guess.
more
Like
love because
they
I feel
grant
like,
more grace.
right, I feel like parents love their children all equally, but
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to certain situations, they'll go above and beyond for the certain child
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
like that. And
No, I
I've
understand.
always felt like that. I've always felt like my mom had a more of a care for my brother because
Mm-hmm.
she would make ways for him,
Mm-hmm.
but me, I mean, I'm not saying she never made a way for me, but it's just like it wasn't a sense of urgency for me.
Yeah. I
Like,
understand that
you get what I'm
completely.
saying? There was no
Mm-hmm.
urgency with me, you know what I mean? Like, and I never liked that. And I finally can like say like I know what it feels like to have that only girl syndrome, because it's like I'm the only girl, I'm the youngest girl, so there is that, like, now I'm getting always degraded about my age and me being young and all this stuff like that. And then on top of that, being the only girl, and my son never gets held accountable for, I'm not my son, my brother. What? Because I like feel like he's my son. Like, my brother never gets held accountable for the stuff that he's ever done in life. You know, it's like he did it, they talked about it once or twice, moved on. But me, like, I'll never get, like, I'll always hear all the time about everything that I've done. Like, I don't know, being an only girl is like a struggle. It's a struggle.
Yeah, no, it's pretty garbage. And like you were saying earlier, like the, oh, you're a girl, you can't do this. Like the double standard makes my blood boil. Oh my god, my I have so much beef with that double standard.
Yeah,
the boys do this, girls do that. Like I don't give a fuck. I do not give a fuck. I have never given a fuck. Why is that a real rule? Why are you going by this rule? It's made up. Like who gives a fuck? Like I remember when I was in high school, like, I mean, like, it's no big deal because I mean, like, I shouldn't be dating in high school anyway. But like, how I was literally 16 and I was told I can't date until like I'm 16. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm 16, time to date. And they're just like, oh no, you can't do that. No, like, oh no. And I was like, what do you mean, no? What do you mean? And I'm just like, I bet if Jaden had a little girlfriend right now, y'all wouldn't care. Because I mean, at the time, Jaden was like 10 years old. Right. But my dad was like, he was like, I don't care. He's a boy. I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
I just had this conversation with my mom.
And it's just, like, it never made any sense to me. And like, what do you mean? Oh my God. And then like the whole, like there were conversations I've had with my parents about like, I can't remember the exact topics, but I just remember like a lot of like, oh, girls grow up faster or something, like girls mature faster than boys or something like that. So like it's just different. And I'm like, what do you mean it's different? What do you fucking mean it's different? I'm a kid. What so you're just gonna let your sons be fucking dummies and put these unrealistic, pressurous expectations on me because I'm a girl? What the fuck do you mean? What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you mean? So that's really frustrating. I have so much beef with that. And like, and I think about how like in high school, I mean, I'm an introvert anyway, so I didn't really want to do much, but like, God forbid I did want to go to a party, or God forbid I did want to go to a friend's house that I haven't gone to my entire life. Like, you know, like going to anyone's house who wasn't Kayla was too tough. I just didn't do it. Cause like Kayla was like my main, you know, throughout middle school and high school. And so she was like the main person I hung out with, like, you know, as far as like outside of school, because God forbid I tried to hang out with other friends. Like my parents made a big fucking deal about it. And like, they'll be like, oh, dude, I don't know their parents. And I don't care. Like, I don't care if you don't know their parents. And it's like, okay, if you don't know their parents, meet them. Right. Fucking meet them. Like, what do you mean? They made everything so tough for me. But it's like, I remember when Kareem was in high school, he was able to go to like these little high school parties. Like he used to back in the day when there was Soldier Boy dances and stuff going around, people would have the little dance teams. Kareem would go to these little parties and have his little dance team and shit, and he would go to like little high school parties. God forbid I wouldn't do something like that. No. And like with prom, I had to go home directly after prom. I couldn't even do what the other kids was doing, like prom after parties or whatever. I couldn't do that shit. And it's like with my little brother now, you know, seeing him go through high school, my parents let him go to parties. And I'm just like, what the fuck? He's like 2 years old. What is he doing at a party? And it's like, God forbid I tell my parents that. I'm just like, y'all didn't let me do this stuff when I was his age. Or y'all didn't do any of that for me, or I couldn't do that or whatever. You didn't let me. Y'all were too strict. They're like, we weren't strict. I'm like, what do you mean you weren't strict? What the hell is you talking about? Like, and you know, if you guys are listening right now, I have so much beef with you. My parents even know. But like, I just have so much issues with that. Like the double standard, the Like, I don't understand what it is. Like, is it on purpose? Like, do they do this shit on purpose? Like, I'm confused. Do you take me as a dummy? Like, oh my goodness, it's something it's always been so frustrating to me. And it's a bummer because, like, the thing about things that affect you in your childhood and like childhood trauma is like, there's no real solution. You just got to learn how to heal from it, because it's not like you can go back in time and change it and tell them what they did wrong in the moment. Right. It's like all you can do is tell them what they did wrong while you're an adult and just hope for the best. Hope that they apologize, or hope that they're like, oh crap, that was wrong, huh? And apologize. And like, there's no real resolution there. So that's kind of what really sucks, in my opinion, because like, you have these moments and you know how to articulate your feelings as an adult, and it's like you tell them and it's useless. And so there's like no real resolution there. Like, that's the shit that sucks.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah. And like with the whole like dating thing, like I literally just had a conversation with my mom about this. Like, I'm not trying to put my brother's business out on the table, but my brother, like, he got around or whatever, and he would bring a girl to my mom like every damn week. And like the minute I talk about dating somebody, she doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to listen to it or like, whatever like that. Mean? I'm just like, what?
Like, and it's crazy, and it's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and like,
come on now.
It's so crazy. Then with and I'm thinking about
the whole the whole party thing. My brother, and I'm not lying to you, from Sunday through Saturday, he went out every single night. I'm not joking. High school. In high school? I'm not joking. Where the fuck is he going? I'm not joking.
Oh my goodness.
Saturday, well, whatever, Sunday through Saturday, he went out every single night. And I remember one time I don't know if I was in high school, out on middle school. I wanted to go to this Halloween party. And so my mom had to take me because, in Georgia, you have to drive everywhere or whatever. Yeah. So, basically, I guess she saw the scenery of the party and she was like, oh, you don't need to go here. You don't need to be around these people, whatever. And I'm like, it's a party. It's a house party. So I don't.
And you're literally just kids. Like, what are you going to do?
Right. I'm like, I don't. So literally, like, she was like, oh, you're going to just go in there for 5 minutes and come back out. Girl, I stayed there for the whole time the party was there. I didn't even. Right. I'm just like, what? Like,
I wouldn't have cared. Yeah. Because it's like, what do you mean?
She waited for me. She thought I was coming. No, she thought I was coming right back out for real. I'm just like, your son got to party all his life, and I go to one party, and because it doesn't look to your standards, I can't go. But you don't even know what kind of parties your son went to.
You don't know where that man was. That's really aggravating.
It's just, it's a lot of stuff. And I feel like that's why now, like, now that I'm older, I don't like doing a lot of things. Like, I don't like because I've never been exposed to doing different things because I was never really allowed to. Like, I don't like the club. I mean, I don't think I would ever like the club, but like, I'm not like, I can have fun, but I'm not a person that's going to overdo the fun. And I'm not a person that's willing to have fun all the time because I was never able to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. So it's like, now I'm older, I don't even want to do it anymore.
Right. It's just kind of one of those things. Like, it's like a learned helplessness kind of thing. Like, you're just like, well, I guess I'll give up. Like, right. You know what I mean?
And I think it's worse like when your parents are Caribbean.
Oh, really?
I feel like Caribbean parents are more stricter. Like,
I personally wouldn't know.
Yeah, you would like. I mean, you've seen my mom in action.
Black people.
You've seen my mom in action, and I feel like, yeah, Black parents.
Yeah, but I mean, they were lenient with your brothers, so it's like it's not like they weren't capable of being lenient.
Let me say this: they always say Haitian mothers care about their sons more than the daughters. Yeah.
That some kind of misogyny is going on.
I'm just I just like, because Caribbean parents, I think Caribbean parents are like, for people that are Caribbean or African, they'll understand, like, they are like the strictest people ever. Like, my mom wasn't like so much of a like hardcore, but when you have those hardcore Caribbean parents, it's just like they have this saying, it's just home, school, and church.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I mean, like I've heard, like I heard from you and like other friends and stuff like that. Like I can imagine that sounds so scary, but honestly, I'm actually no. I feel like I could kind of relate. I mean, obviously, I don't have Caribbean parents, but my parents have always
Yeah.
been straight. I never went anywhere. Like they made a big deal even when I hung out with you. Like I had to like ask them like 2 weeks in advance to go out to the movies and stay the
Yeah.
night. And I used to get the worst anxiety when I would ask to hang out with you because like for some reason I felt like I was asking to do something wrong. When all I wanted to do was just have $20 to go to the movies and hang out with my best friend.
Right.
Like, and you were the only person I hung out with, so it's like, what could I be doing?
Right.
But for some reason, like, I don't know what it was. Like, I always felt like guilty and anxious every time I asked my parents to do something because, like, that's just what they were. That's how they made me feel.
Right.
Like, I never had the freedom to ask for something and just get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's really annoying. Like, even if I would ask to hang out, like, there were times where I have to do like some elaborate chores or something really time consuming and useless, and just to get like $20. And it's just like, you just give my brothers money no matter what. Like, if Jay didn't want to go to movies right now with his friends, my parents just give him money and take him out the door. Like, tell him to go. And like, that's just really aggravating to me.
Another
Oh my
thing,
goodness.
another thing that just came to the top of my head. When parents, they feel like because they pay your bills, they gave you life, that's all you deserve and need.
Right. God forbid you need emotional support.
That's
God
all you
forbid you need
need.
anything else outside of that.
Right. Like,
God forbid you want to be treated like a human.
right. Like, oh, well, I pay your bills, I put a roof over your head. I think that's enough. No. I think parenting is more than just giving a roof, like, over my
Keeping
head
me
and paying
alive
my
is a bare
bills.
minimum.
I just that took me for it.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
I
I
remember
thought
I
about
got
that.
into it with my dad a while ago. And he was like, I'm going to work and making money. And I was like, yeah, that's a bare minimum. Like, duh. Like, you're supposed to work and make money. What else are you supposed to do? Like, that's the bare minimum. But like, can we have some more of the other things, like emotional support, like learn how to treat me like a human, like like those kind of things, like.
Yeah.
And like, it's a shame because like I feel like my parents don't know me, and like I know
Yeah.
that there's people out there who are very close to their parents and their parents know them like the back of their hand, into their adulthood, and I think that's a privilege. But like, my parents haven't known me since I was like maybe 10. Cause like, no, I could call my parents right now and ask them what's my favorite color. They would not be able to tell me.
Damn.
I could tell them right now. I could call them right now and be like, "Oh, so like, what's my favorite hobby?" They would not be able to tell me. Like, if they say anything, they're probably like, "Oh, you like to draw?" I haven't drawn in years. Like, I was obsessed with drawing from like grades 3 to like maybe 12, maybe like all the grade school, maybe, right?
Right.
I haven't drawn in a long time. Like, if you ask my parents what my grade point average is, they don't know. Like, from college. Like, they probably don't even remember that I graduated early.
Oh my God.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just, it's a shame because like it doesn't harbor, like, parents treat you like a chore and not like a person. I feel like, and it's like, and it shows. And like, of course, not everyone's parents. Obviously, I know some people are very close to their parents. Don't get me wrong. And like, and I feel like I'm relatively close to my mom, but like, I feel like if I called her right now, she wouldn't be able to tell me most of these things. Like, this past Christmas, I got some good gifts. That's only because I gave them a list. I feel like if I didn't like, I feel like I'm at the point where like, if I didn't give my parents a list, I wouldn't get anything that I wanted for Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of thing. Like, and I feel like you should know those things about your kids. You know what I mean? Or like want to know those things. But like, it's like because of things that have happened in my childhood into my adulthood, it's hard to even harbor a close relationship too because of how they handle things, you know?
Yeah.
And like, yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry, one more point that I want to make
Okay.
is if you are a parent in a bad relationship, break the fuck up. Divorce.
Yeah.
Get a divorce for the sake of your children. Get a divorce. I don't give a fuck. Like if some people are young right now and you have like, you know, let's say you like you probably aren't married to like your children's father or something, your children's mother, whatever. If y'all are in a toxic thing, don't stay together. Don't force it. Please don't force it for the sake of your kid having a two-parent household because that doesn't do anything for anybody but create more trauma. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like don't do that because that is the worst thing you could possibly do. I one thing I've grown to dislike is people's obsession, like not obsession, like don't get me wrong, people think that having a two-parent household is a good thing. But I don't think that it is. I genuinely just don't think it is. And I think that people have like this unhealthy obsession with like with just saying like, oh yeah, we're both here, so like our kid is coming up great. No, you can both be there and make life miserable for all three of you. Like it's just no. Like so if you are in something toxic and you happen to have a kid with someone and you decide to keep the kid, either learn how to keep it cordial and co-parent and work back towards the love that you had or something, or divorce or break up. Don't subject your kid to anything toxic because they see that and they soak it all in and it affects them. Don't do no dumb shit like that. Don't do it. And like even if it's like along the line, like let's say you've already been together a few years, break up. If it's not fixing yourself, break up because you're setting yourself up and your children up for failure.
Yep. And I
That's
feel
not
like parents or like the toxic relationships with like between the two parents, I feel like they only stay in that because of the history or the years or because they have
yeah.
kids together. And my thing is it's like
Break up.
history means nothing. Years
History
means
means
nothing.
nothing. Nothing.
Yes,
It's just
kids may
time wasted.
yeah.
Like it's time wasted regardless.
Yeah, and yeah, kids may be affected by the divorce, like how I said, like I mean, I never saw my mom and my dad together, but I'm sure that my brother did, and when they separated, it did probably affect him because that's what he knew. But at the same time, it's like you have to think about it like they're not good for each other.
Yeah,
And also, okay, let's say they do break up. Let's say they do break up, you guys have to learn how to co-parent well and effectively because
exactly.
okay, I'm gonna say it, but like my mom and my dad, after they broken up, they never had a good relationship after that. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, now they're cool because we're older, there's nothing for them to talk about, but
yeah,
they didn't really try to co-parent the best way because this person would always want to be right, that person would always want to be right, but then you have this person who you know swears up and down they know what they're talking about. But then you have this person who's like, no, I know what I'm talking about. It's just like a back and forth that affects a child as well because it's like all you just want is your parents to get along no matter what their relationship
yeah.
is. And like to see your parents go back and forth, it's like that's not healthy because you're not seeing a healthy relationship. So some
Exactly. And
kids
that manifests into your adulthood really
yeah.
quick.
So some kids may grow up to thinking like, oh, this is okay. Like, I see my parents fight, they make up, boom, that's cool. And some people think like, oh,
Couples do
that's a
it.
health right. Some people think that's a healthy relationship, but in reality, it's not. Like you're messing up your children because you don't know how to communicate.
Exactly. Yeah, it that's a whole snowball effect in itself too. Cause like,
Yeah.
oh boy.
And then that goes into like our childhood traumas that can affect you along the way, like with your romantic relationships with other people. You know what I mean? Because you think,
like,
go ahead.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Like it can affect how you carry your relationships, romantic and even platonic, because like, well, a little bit outside of like the whole marriage thing, I'm thinking about strict parents, but like just to touch on that too, just like briefly, strict parents can like affect your friendship making skills, in my opinion, because I didn't know how to make friends for a long time, and like so there's things like that, and then like the bad relationship. If you don't get it together, your kids will not know how to have healthy love, and like once they find it, they'll be jumping through all kind of hoops and hopping the hills and everything, going through all kind of pain, trying to figure out how to have a healthy love because they don't know what it looks like. And they think they know what it looks like because they watch movies or they see other people and like how they perceive other people's relationships, but they don't know themselves. And you're just lost. And like, and it sucks because like having a romantic relationship is fun. It's nice. People desire those things. And it sucks when you desire it, but like you don't know how to get it right. And sometimes people don't have partners that are patient enough to stick through with them while they learn how to get it right. Because, I mean, of course, like some people might be a little bit more toxic, I guess. Like you might have people who like just shut off and like don't do anything. They don't open up ever at all. Like you have people like that, but like you might just have people who just don't know, and like they're trying to figure it out and they don't have a partner who's patient enough to stick through with them, and like so you can learn it together and see what works for your relationship and how to do things right. And then you could probably have two people who have relationship issues, like they're both clueless, and that's a train wreck in itself. And it's just there's so much that can go wrong just based off of how your parents raise you. Like it's crazy. And that's why I can't have kids, because I don't have time for that kind of pressure. But but like that's just that I feel like that's the realism of it.
And I feel like certain relationships help you kind of realize or make you realize your childhood traumas, because like my last relationship, it kind of made me realize like what was the word? Because Dominique was being my little psychologist for the time.
Yeah.
What was the word?
Avoidant. It was like something anxious, avoidant personality or something.
Anxious. I think it was anxious.
Because the person had like
avoidant.
You asked me what I said you had or what
me.
did they have.
I know what they had.
Anxious personality or something. Like you had like anxious avoidant or something. No, you had like anxious attachment though. I think.
Yeah, I think it was attachment.
I get my psychology from TikToks and what I learned in college. So
okay, so
I mean, I'm just hoping for this.
Basically, I think it was anxious attachment. So basically, it's like okay, hold on.
Yeah. Take your time.
Okay, most often anxious attachment is due to inconsistent parenting, low self-esteem, strong fear of rejection or abandonment, clinginess in relationships are common signs of this attachment. Although it does not require effort, individuals with such attachment styles can develop a secure attachment style over the time. Basically, let me see. So what causes it is that inconsistent parenting patterns. Sometimes the parent will be supportive and responsive to their child's need. Other times they won't. The inconsistency might make it difficult for the child to understand what the parent behavior means and what kind of responses to expect in the future. The child might end up confused about his or her relationship with the caregiver. It was something else, basically telling me the symptoms. So, okay, basically in relationships, it may cause anxiety, stress, unhappiness, low life satisfaction. Um, with styles might be both life saving and life threatening. They're not telling me what I need to know.
Yeah, there was an article that we looked at before. Is that the same one?
No.
Oh.
Furthermore, an anxious individual might be insecure about where they stand in the relationship, and whether their partner loves them as much as they do in return. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
Um,
and like, don't they need like a lot of reassurance or something?
a lot of reassurance. And I feel like the reason that I am the way that way, I mean, okay, growing up, like it's only been me as like as
Yeah.
a child. So
Mhm.
I never had another sibling. Like that's another thing. Like with me and my brother's big age gap, we have nothing to relate to. He's like 8 years
Yes, of
older than me.
course.
He's all the way up here and I'm all the way down here. We have nothing to relate to. So you can't really like talk to, and it may be different for some. Like some people can relate with their siblings, but I'm not one of them. So
No,
um
neither.
right.
It's
And they're
8 years
boys
for my
too.
big
So
brother and 6 years for my younger brother. We're just all in different parts of life. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And they're boys too. So it's just like, what the fuck we gonna talk about?
Mhm.
So I just feel
Yeah.
like with that whole thing, like when you have an anxious personality, like your partner needs to be ready and willing to kind of work with you through that, because sometimes
Mhm.
people don't even know that they're doing what they're doing. And like
Exactly.
when you're in a relationship, primarily you just want to be loved. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. But it's like people who went through different types of attachment styles with their partners, they're looking for that specific type of love. So like I guess I don't want to say too much, but not even as a child, like probably like in my teen years, like because you still can go through childhood trauma as an adult,
Yeah.
I believe. And like, through those times, like I guess I felt neglected
Yeah. No, I
in a
mean, I can
sense.
with that.
And I felt neglected. And I mean, I personally never told my mom that, but I felt, you know, just
Yeah.
left. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think like what I'm referring to with the whole,
Yeah.
yeah. So I felt neglected. And like I said, I felt like my mom always loved my brother more than me. I've never had the reassurance like, oh yeah, I love you, but she's always like,
Yeah.
loving is not saying it, it's more of like showing it,
Well,
which
like,
is
why can't you just say
true,
it?
but it's like
Yeah. You want
you
to
have
hear
to
it.
you have to show it in the way that I can receive it.
Exactly. I think that's one thing my parents too. Like, I'm now that I think about it, like most of my life, I don't think I've ever heard like "I love you" from my parents.
Hmm.
Like, it's not something that I got often. Like when I hear people on the phone with their parents, they're like, "Okay, bye, I love you." I don't
Yeah,
do that.
we don't do that.
Yeah, like I don't do that. But and never mind. I had something so good to say too, but it's okay. Anyway, continue, Taylor.
It'll come to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, so I guess me feeling neglected, like, the minute that you find love or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and the minute this one person shows you the love that you want, you're just like so attached to them. But it's just like
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how the other person is because you don't know how they grew up, or you do know how they grew up and they just don't respond into that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it can kind of like childhood traumas can kind of like it can affect your relationship. And
Yeah.
I mean, like I've never really thought about my childhood traumas like before, because like it's just never been a thing to think about. Like I'm the
Yeah.
type of person, like I don't like, okay, I'll think about stuff I care about, but like certain things like I don't really dwell on any
Life
like,
kind of goes on.
yeah, it like goes on or whatever. So I never really thought about my childhood traumas because like I never had a reason to think about that, because it's always been, whatever to me. But, childhood traumas can come in like different ways, like different forms. Like you can get childhood traumas from abuse. You can get childhood traumas from losing a loved one. You can get
Yeah.
childhood traumas like, from all that type of stuff. And like
Yeah.
I feel like I have a lot, like not a lot, but I have childhood traumas, losing a loved one, like losing my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother. That was like the person that practically raised me. I was
Mm-hmm.
always with her, and then to not have this person anymore, because like at such a young age too, like I'm kind of glad that she has passed when I was younger, because I didn't
Yeah.
understand it, but I did understand it, but it
Right
wasn't
now.
that bad. But if she passed right now, I feel like I would have, been
I'll
like
hop in the casket with her.
hop in the cat. Like I wanted to hop in the casket then. Like I can only imagine like how now it would be like how when if she passed now, like I don't think I would be the same like person anymore.
Mhm.
Like when I was a child, yeah, she died. And yeah, I am sad every day about it. And I think about her a lot, but it's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, like you said, life goes on. So, but it's like, yeah, child, like growing up, you never really know how life is going to be for you. And
Yeah.
it's just like, it's difficult, like to see, to look back on the things that you have endured as a child or engaged in as a child or anything like that's happened to you as a child. Like looking back at it, it's just like, damn, that really happened to me, and I kind of just brushed it off without trying to like heal from it or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I get it. There's so much that goes into it.
it's a
There's so
lot.
much. I feel like I have one more point, but
Yeah, I'm done with my
um,
points, honestly.
are you? I I think, I mean, just to wrap it up, it's just like there's so much that goes into how you interact with your parents, and it's like I keep saying, I keep relating childhood to adulthood, and it's just you don't realize that a lot of that shit is just not normal until you're older too.
Yeah.
Like it's not until you talk to other people or you just learn about experiences that are like normal or that are ideal, that it's like, oh well, shit, I'm kind of fucked up. Like
Right.
I'm kind of like, and it's like not to say like you are like you're a messed up person if you go through something because it's out of your control. But I'm just saying, like it's like damn, like I got the short end of the stick. Like that's kind of ass. Like that sucks,
Right.
and it's wild. And I feel like a lot of your childhood is just not childhood. A lot of your adulthood is fixing all of that. So you gotta
Yeah.
fix the fuck ups of your parents, and that's just a whole bunch. And then, God forbid, you want to have kids, you got to make sure all that's in order before you have kids, so your kids don't end up like you, and you're just continuing the cycle. And that's there's so much. Oh my goodness, there's so much. Oh, it's such a
And
big part of your life too, and it's just because
yeah.
it's not like you can control how you're brought up. Your parents, you just gotta hope for the best, I guess, because they hope for the best, and you just gotta be like, oh, okay, because like your parents are like the first source of humans that you get, and you rely on them. That's just how it is. From
Yeah.
like ages 0 to like maybe 16, you rely on your parents to learn things. That's
Yeah.
just kind of how it is, because you have no reason to believe that your parents are wrong until you're told otherwise. Like that's how, because as a toddlers blindly follow everything because they're toddlers. Like they don't know anything. They've been here for like 3 days.
Right.
Like it's wild. It's so wild. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
crazy.
And trying to fix yourself like as an adult it's even harder because you're just trying to learn like you're trying to unlearn those things that you've learned is hard.
Mm,
So,
yeah,
but
I'm learning this. It's really tough, but
yeah,
yeah, that's our spiel on toxic
toxic
parents
parents.
and childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh my
But
goodness
now it's
gracious.
time for our, as you know, shady talks. And Dominique, I'm just gonna kind of give my insight on your shady talk because I don't really like my choice that I picked.
Okay, well,
So we can
we
we
don't have
can
to do two every week, We
no, we
could
don't.
just,
So I'm
yeah.
gonna
So
just
we just gonna hop on the same thing.
yeah.
So let me pull it up real quick.
Okay.
So basically, um, I'm scrolling through Shade Room just as I do, and I see a post about Kim and Kanye. So basically, the post says Kanye West alleges Kim Kardashian tried to kidnap their daughter in Chicago after he wasn't invited to her birthday party. And there's a screenshot of one of his Instagram post captions. He says, "What? Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. he screenshot Kim's story. So basically, I'm back up a little bit. So Kim posted on her story a statement about Kanye after he calls her out for letting North use TikTok against his will.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so basically, Kim says Kanye's constant attacks on me in the interviews and on social media is actually more hurtful than any TikTok North might create. As a parent who is the main provider and caregiver of our children, I am doing my best to protect our daughter while also allowing her to express her creativity in the medium that she wishes with adult supervision because it brings her happiness. Divorce is difficult enough on our children, and Kanye's obsession with trying to control and manipulate our situation so negatively and publicly is only causing further pain for all. From the beginning, I have wanted nothing but a healthy and supportive co-parenting relationship because it was the best for our children. And it saddens me that Kanye continues to make it impossible. Let's say every step of the way. And so Kanye says in Instagram caption, "What do you mean main provider? America saw you try to kidnap my daughter on her birthday by not providing the address. You put security on me inside of the house to play with my son, then accused me of stealing. I had to take a drug test after Chicago's party because you accused me of being on drugs. Tracy Romulus, stop manipulating Kim to be this way." And then Kanye made another Instagram post, I guess screenshot in Northwest's TikTok post. Mm-hmm. And he said, and the caption says, "Since this is my first divorce, I need to know what I should do about my daughter being put on TikTok against my will." So that's basically the premise of this, right? Mm-hmm. And look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything about the situation, right?
Right.
I barely believed the fact that they were getting divorced because I was like, oh, well, people have rumors all the time about things. Like, I didn't believe that Rihanna was pregnant for a long time because I'm like, well, people speculate and they make things up anyway. So I'm not going to believe any rumors until something is proved true.
Right.
So obviously they're divorced. Obviously there's a whole situation. Like, I think we talked about it a couple episodes too, how Travis Scott gave the address to Kanye or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And honestly, I just think it's a train wreck. Like, long story short, I think it's all a train wreck. I think that for one, this shouldn't be so public because what the fuck is happening. But... And two, like, I'm not taking any sides just because I just don't know how I could. But I don't know. It's just, this is too much. I think Kanye is being a mess. I haven't heard a peep out of Kim. You know, and like I hear a lot of people saying that, like, oh, well, like Kanye should have known when he got into marrying a Kardashian. Oh, he should have avoided that. He made the mistake of marrying a Kardashian. And like, okay, but he did it. And they had like 4 beautiful kids. Like, I'm sure they were in love at one point, right? So I just think that this is ghetto. Like, long story, like, made short. It's a mess, and I think that Kanye needs to be a little bit more mature about it. I think that there's something deeper since Kim made him get a drug test. Maybe there's something going on with Kanye. I don't know. I know some people love Kanye, right? They love them some Kanye, but I'm skeptical. Like, Kanye's kind of been going on a downward slope a lot lately. Like, I don't know if it's a creative thing, if he's just like going outside the box or whatever, but he's a little strange. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being strange. But like, I feel like I have no doubt that it manifested in his personal life. You know what I mean? Like, and I can see how Kim wouldn't want him around because they're divorced, right? And like, don't get me wrong, if you want to co-parent, you know, you should have him, you know, at his kid's birthday party. But obviously, I don't know these people personally, but I would hope that Kim wouldn't disinvite Kanye or like just not tell Kanye where it was if Kanye wasn't an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I doubt that this is something that could be blown out of proportion. You know what? Like, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get it.
Like, I just don't see the validity in keeping a father away from his kids on purpose after a divorce. Because, like, they raised those kids together for like almost 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So clearly he's capable, but like something had to have happened to where Kim doesn't feel good about having him around, you know? And like the TikTok thing, like that's something they should have consulted each other on, I guess, because you know if you're gonna be a parent, like you should consult the other parent about something your kids are doing,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're so like popular and famous or whatever. But I don't know, like maybe it's because I'm not a parent, but I just don't get the big deal. I don't get the big deal. I just think that they don't need to handle this in public. I don't care to watch it or see it on Instagram posts. But since it's out there, obviously I'm gonna have an opinion because it's out there for people to see.
Right.
And it's weird. I don't know. What do you think?
It's to me, it's that typical baby mama, baby daddy drama, like,
That's what it's giving.
and it's given like because they're like such mainstream people, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
main people like is giving.
They're
They just
A-list
want
celebrities.
somebody in their business, and like the Kardashians are well known for letting people in their business. And yeah,
Yeah.
Kim hasn't said much or whatever, but like you said, I feel like it's something deeper. Like I'm not trying to side with Kanye, but I'm just saying like baby daddies be doing shit low key, like to their baby mamas, like
Mm-hmm.
with the whole texting. Like they'll like example, like baby daddies will text baby mamas like, oh, just spiteful shit because they don't want to be with them anymore. Cause I think Kim didn't want to be with him anymore or something like that.
Um,
And now she's already moved on. And, now
yeah.
all of a sudden that she's moved on, she has her thing going on. He's doing all
Mhm.
this extra shit. Like, oh,
Yeah, talking about he's gonna fight people this soon.
right. Oh, she don't want to let me see my child or this and that. Like niggas just be doing that, like just out of spite. And I mean,
Like
she
it's
may
just
be
giving.
keeping the children away, but for a good purpose, or because she probably
Yeah.
thinks something's wrong with him. And for him to have to do like a drug test or whatever, like obviously she feels like something is wrong with him because he probably done like I said, texted her on some shit or
Yeah, or
call her
maybe
and
he's
harassed
had
her or
substance
something.
abuse or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't doubt Kim like feelings at all because baby daddies is ghetto. Like that's why I'm just like
Yeah.
having a
And
kid
Kanye.
is like just too much sometimes. Like, yeah, I want to
Mhm.
have kids, but okay, let's say it don't work out with the child's father, then I'm gonna have to deal with the baby daddy drama. Then I'm gonna have to deal with
Yeah.
his extra shit. And let's say he don't want me to move on. Let's say he still want to be with me. I gotta deal with all of that shit. And baby mamas and daddies go back and forth on social media like, fuck this nigga, da 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 da, and then oh, I never liked this bitch anyways, and like it just be too much sometimes. And
Yeah.
like you said, they shouldn't even be doing this because first of all, the child is on TikTok. So I'm pretty sure she's on social media as well. She can see these
Yeah.
things. And on TikTok, they tell live news or what's going on, what's the latest stuff. I'm pretty sure she sees what's going on. So I feel like for the sake of her, this shouldn't be out there like that.
No. No, I definitely agree. It's a mess.
It
It's a
is. And I feel like
mess.
it's only going to get messier.
Yeah, but it's so weird because like I mean, and you know the Kardashians, they're just good for a PR thing. You know, they're good, they know how to handle themselves on social media when things happen. You
Yeah.
know? So I mean like Kim's probably handling it behind the scenes as she should. But
Yeah.
like Kanye's doing all these publicity stunts, like all this he made a song dissing Pete Davidson and he's showing up with some random white woman or something at a party or
Right. He was
something.
like kissing
Like
two females. Like,
yeah,
come
he's doing
on.
the most, and then like his Yeezy stuff, like he slept with the well, that he just weird. He slept with the Mercedes Benz Stadium, but like Kanye, he's just making this a whole thing. He's making these Instagram posts and
You
everything,
know
and
what this
like
sounds like?
Kim isn't really saying anything. You know, like she's probably handling it behind the scenes as she should. Like, did they like unless they calculated for Kanye to act this way? But it's just weird.
You know what this sounds like? A hurt nigga. That's what
It
it sounds.
does.
It sounds
It
like a hurt.
does.
That's how niggas act when they
It
hurt.
does. Yeah, because he's doing all this like, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm better than you. Yeah, 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 yeah. And my child, and like, it's giving insecure. And like, don't get me wrong, maybe he's hurt because Kim just didn't want him anymore, like you said earlier. Like, that's fine to have your feelings hurt, but to lash out in such a way, Kanye, you are Kanye. You are Kanye. You can't do that. Because imagine Beyonce and Jay-Z break up and Beyonce go on a smear campaign. Who got time for that? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you are an A-list, like, you are up there as a celebrity. And you're just doing all this shit on social media. Like, I feel like social media is the worst thing that happens to some people. Mm-hmm. Like, the way it's so easy to just have access to people's lives, and the way people are so easily putting their entire lives out there in this kind of way is like a regular person like me should not be having an opinion on the A-list celebrity's life like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we are brackets and brackets, tax brackets away. I'm not even in the same city or the same conversation as these people. And it's like, I know all your business. Well, like, not all your business, like a good chunk of your business. Like, I know your business.
Right.
And it's weird. And like, obviously that's how social media has evolved. That's just how things are. But like, and they're on reality TV, so duh. But it's just not, it's strange. It's
not
very
giving.
strange. Yeah, it's not giving. I mean, I hope Kanye can heal. And I hope that him and Kim can get to a good
come
point
together.
So they can co-parent and be, you know, they're good, they're friends. But right now it's chaos. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
And some people, it takes some years for them to actually get to like a in the middle type of thing. Like, you know, they got to do all this first. They just broke up. They just about to get a divorce. So they got to go through this first. And I feel like some years has to pass by for them to come to a common ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But that's on them. They'll fix it. I'm sure they'll fix it. They can afford therapists. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that wraps up our Shady Talk.
Yeah, and that wraps up the whole
our
podcast.
Episode.
Another good one.
Another good one, and we're just gonna keep coming out with more. So
yeah, I think we're doing good. We're on a good trajectory. I'm still so happy and so grateful for all the support that we're getting.
We get a lot of support daily, and
everybody's so sweet.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, and soon we're probably gonna become like, well, we're gonna be official, like official soon.
Oh yeah.
So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, obviously you guys probably don't care about that, but yeah, we'll be official.
Yeah, it'll be more official than this will be our brand, our name.
Yeah,
and I mean, pretty sure we can come out with merch. I would love to get like a little coffee like cup and put like Talk That Talk podcast or whatever, TTK and D.
Let's see what money we got coming.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, give something for the supporters.
Yeah, that'll be cute.
Yeah.
One day.
We will see you guys and hear you, let you, you know what I mean? I can't get that right. I'm gonna get it right though. But next Tuesday, we will see you. Stay tuned. And I hope you guys have a blessed week and
have a great Valentine's Day. I mean, next time we upload, you'll hear from us after Valentine's Day, but still.
Yeah. All right. Well, bye.
Bye.